Okay, well, welcome. I'm Karen Davis. As some of y'all know, I am the Vice President of FACS for ACTE, and I'm glad y'all are on today. So today, the workshop or the call is over, how we get our students excited about being FACS teachers. And this is just basically, this is a chit chat between all of us about throwing out ideas. There is no rules, regulations about it. And so so it's gonna be a open table. But I do want to apologize to y'all. I kind of sound all stopped up because I am kind of all stopped up. So I apologize to y'all. But before we do too much more, I do think we need to go around and introduce ourselves and tell us who we are, what we teach, or if what area, if we teach or retired, and what state we're from. That would be absolutely helpful. I think that to get started. Like y'all know, I'm Karen Davis. My background actually, I teach family fashion design at Tulsa Tech in Oklahoma. So, who would like to go next? So, Karen, do you want to go next?
Karen Jones? Yes, I'll be happy to. I am Karen Jones from Georgia. I am retired from the University of Georgia. I taught FACS education students and also career and technical ed students a course about special needs students. But so one is my heart and one is my soul, special needs and FACS. And so I am here because I saw the announcement about recruiting FACS Ed students, and I'm passionate about that.
Great. Nicole, would you like to tell us a little bit about you?
Sure. I'm Nicole Graves. I'm the FCS teacher educator at South Dakota State University. I'm a former middle school, high school, family consumer sciences teacher myself. So kind of brought my career full circle and now preparing the next generation. I've been in my role for, it blows my mind, but I've been in this particular role for a decade. Um, so but yes, we have way more demand than we're ever able to meet with our class sizes. So just always looking for ways to try to intrigue more students into thinking about being FCS teachers.
Dr. Tripp?
Sure. Paula Tripp. I have the same job Nicole does. I'm at Oklahoma State. And yes, as you know, we need lots and lots of teachers. So, we're doing some recruiting things and having some good successes. I really want to hear though, what are some other things that are working? What does captivate? What does, like Nicole said, intrigue the secondary students to say, yeah, that's me. That's what I want to do.
Miss Angela?
Hello, I'm Angela. I'm at Eastern Kentucky University. I'm a teacher educator for FCS Ed at Eastern Kentucky. My background is in apparel design and merchandising, fully all my degrees. So I came into FCS in 2023 for Eastern Kentucky, and I've learned a lot about this world. And so I saw this call and was like, I'm going to join and just make sure I'm doing as best as I can with our recruiting efforts. Our program's growing really fast. And in Kentucky, the three schools with FCS Ed, three universities with FCS Ed, we work together really closely, which has been amazing. But yeah, I just want to make sure I'm doing the best we can for our students.
Okay, Miss Kimberly.
Hello, so my name is Kimberly Wilson. I am retired FCS teacher. Taught for 34 years, middle school, high school. My mantra is I retired from the classroom, but not from education. So I just want to stay abreast and just see how I can support and the things that I can do to get our students to think about going into the field.
Lisa, how about you?
I taught kindergarten for 20 years and moved 4 years ago to the high school to teach FACS classes. I teach child development and early childhood education, and I would love to know how to get these kids interested in FCS. I can't seem to convince them. Early childhood, yes, but FCS, not so much.
Okay, hello, Miss Melissa. How are you? Good to see you.
I'm good. Sorry, I'm
Hey,
toggling between two different Zooms right now.
I
But I
gotcha.
wanted to hear all of what you're saying too. I'm Alyssa Webb. I serve as the California Department of Education programs consultant for what we used to call our three industry sectors for family and consumer sciences. Now we've gone the cluster route. So now I get to be a little bit a part of arts, entertainment, and design, and then hopefully being able to keep my other two sectors, now clusters, intact under family and consumer sciences, because I don't want to lose those words, even though the powers that be would like to. So I also serve as the FCCLA state advisor, and we are actively working on recruiting through FCCLA our future teachers from all of our fall, spring, and state competitions. And we are finding that those students who are in FCCLA are really the natural fit to be teachers. So we've been making a lot of headway with keeping track of them. We only have one university in the state at Sac State that offers still the single subject credential, but we're just finding opportunities through the new national cluster updating our standards that we're working with more of the credentialing components in California to hopefully make teacher recruitment more viable and easier for teachers coming from other CTE areas to be hopefully an FCS teacher, not just a teacher, but we definitely want to spread the wealth. So we're working on all parts.
Piper, how about you?
Yeah. Hi, everyone. My name is Piper Barron. I'm not yet a teacher. I'm actually a student at Brigham Young University in Utah. And yeah, I'm one of the ambassadors for the major. So one of my jobs is to kind of promote the major of Family and Consumer Sciences education to my peers here at the university. And so we plan activities and other things like that. We go to conferences like the ACTE conference. But yeah. Nice to meet you guys.
So what year are you in school? Just to wonder.
Yeah, I have 1 year left after this semester, so I'm like a junior.
You're a junior. Okay, well,
Mhm.
congratulations.
Thank
So
you.
thank you for being on the call.
Yeah.
Connie, how are you? Are you
I'm
able?
yeah, can you hear me?
I can hear you. Can you tell us
Okay.
about yourself?
I don't know why my camera is not working. I'm Connie Raridan. I'm from Missouri, and it's my 19th year in FACS education. I do early childhood professional program in our career center, and we also have a lab school with 3 and 4 year olds. And then I am a co-FCCLA sponsor and co-Skills USA sponsor. So that's me.
Okay, thank you. Alan, can you tell us about yourself?
Hi, everyone. Alan Richter. I teach culinary, baking, health. This is my 35th year of FACS teaching, and still enjoying it. Thank you.
Where are you located?
I'm sorry. I'm located in Pennsauken, New Jersey.
Okay. Well,
I'm
thank
teaching
you.
at Penn Tech High School, which
Okay.
is a CTE career development school.
Okay.
We have culinary and baking. We have welding. We have electric. We have pre-engineering. So it's a wonderful program. Thank you.
Well, thank you. So, Lisa, well, tell us about yourself. already, I
Not sure if
apologize.
there's another.
Yeah, I was going to say, I apologize. You went off camera. Okay, I apologize. Okay,
Sorry.
last one, and then we'll get started. Miss Owens, you're going to have to pronounce your first name for me.
Hello, I'm Yonai.
Hi, can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Okay, I am new here in North Carolina. I'm a teacher at Jones Senior High, uh, where I teach food and nutrition 1 and 2. Last semester, I taught career management, and I'm from Jamaica, where I've taught for many years.
Well, welcome.
Thank
Okay,
you.
well, it's exciting to see where everybody's from, all the different areas of facts. And it's interesting just to see, we are all different backgrounds. So it's just quite interesting to see this. So I don't really have a major lesson plan. I thought maybe if some of y'all had any ideas y'all wanted to share of things that might work or did not work. I don't really have a major goal in mind. I'm not going to lie to you. This is more like a suggestions that things that have worked for you. But I do have some suggestions, for me. But this is, just a place that we can, have ideas that we can bounce off of each other. Does anybody, have any thoughts so far? But something that I do think that we need to make sure that students realize when we are talking to them or telling them, doing activities, is that we are the ones that are teaching the life skills, and we are the ones that are, when we, trying to get across our telling them about our career that we do. We are the one that is teaching those life skills that they will use the rest of their lives. And that's why they should be facts teachers, because we are that person that teaches that life skills. So, but does anybody have any suggestions of things that have worked for them about selling this education or this job?
I think one of the things, Karen, that I would say is not so much that I have a suggestion. I have a question. I have a question for Piper, because she is, our student. And so when you think about, as educators, what is it that we can do differently to attract young people to want to come into the field?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I, for me personally, I discovered this major a couple years ago and I was like a year or so into college, and I realized that this major existed, and I was like, oh yeah, that is right down my alley. Like learning life skills and learning how to teach, like I just loved that idea of it. And honestly, beforehand, I wasn't really aware that it existed. Like in high school, I think my high school had like FCCLA and stuff like that, but I just didn't know about it. And so I think just honestly, just talking about it, just hearing about the major, spreading the word, like, I don't know, through different ways, through conversation, sharing like the awesome things you're learning, because it really is like life skills, like you said. So, yeah. And like as a college student, it comes up a lot, like with my peers, they're like, "What are you studying?" And I get to share all about family and consumer sciences education. And um, so yeah, things like that, just like natural ways where it comes up and you can, yeah, share about and like share your excitement with other people.
Yeah. So I think that kind of brings up what I would say then is that I think we promote it, but I think we just need to go the extra mile in promoting it, because students will say, "Oh, I didn't know that you had this program," or "Oh, I didn't know that this was available." So I think as a high school teacher, that it is important that we like go that extra mile. Like, if we have media productions that come on every day, like we need to make sure that we inundate ourselves there, or that we have posters around, or just things that we can share. However, announcements go out in the school, that's something that we need to do, because I have heard that a lot. Students say, "Oh, I wish I would have known that that program was available, and then I would have taken it." And so I think that the big thing is push, 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 promote, and don't just think that word of mouth is going to work. It works, but you need more than just word of mouth.
So, Piper, I'm curious exactly how did you hear about FACS education? Because you said you heard about it, but how did you hear? Because we think that that's part of our issue here, is that we're not getting to students and we're not sure how to get to students.
Yeah, I just heard about it from word of mouth. I worked a summer job at like a summer camp, and my manager, I worked in the dining hall, and my manager had just graduated here from BYU in FACS Ed. And so she was telling me about it, and so I just learned about it through her.
Okay,
Yeah.
thanks.
Yeah. But yeah, I agree with Kimberly about like I think posters like in the school hallways, things like that, or on school announcements, like some sort of media thing if they have some sort of thing like that, or even like the school counselors. Like I think if I would have met with like a school counselor, like these are my interests. What do you think? And they were knowledgeable about FCS and were able to like tell me about it and encourage me to look into it. That would have been really impactful.
Dr. Tripp, what have you seen was been the most difficult part for recruitment, or how can we help you?
One of the biggest hurdles, honestly, lately has been scholarships because of the cost of committing to 4 years of college. So, uh, if there's a way ACTE could help with that, or if they could offer some recruitment grants, uh, then that would be very helpful too. But so those two things would be incredibly helpful for those, for potential college students to know. Um, Other things, if we could get more promotional materials into the hands of our FCS teachers and even our county extension educators too, because I mean, all the 4-H members, oh my gosh, that's another huge, huge opportunity. So, and I know FCCLA has some, and it's on their website, and it can be downloaded. And I know other groups have things, but still, teachers sometimes don't feel prepared to share information. And sometimes they don't even realize what a role model they are. They might be doing, so many great things. As I talk to them and, oh, well, I don't know how to mentor. I don't, they know about me. Why should I tell them that they need to be a FACS teacher? Because they know that. Well, no, they don't. They say, I hear students say, well, I knew I wanted to be a teacher, but it wasn't until my FACS teacher said, I can see you doing that. You love being in here, those kinds of things to really nurture and build those relationships. So if there's a way to, what can we do individually, but as the association too, to help teachers just be better nurturers, to have it come more naturally.
I think this is Connie. Can you guys hear me okay?
Yes.
Okay. I agree with like the media and promoting. We try to do that on our school announcements and the school slideshow that plays throughout. And I try to put articles in our local newspaper whenever we have an event or an activity. My kids go to future teacher days at colleges, and they do a lot of promotion of teachers, but I don't think that they necessarily hear about FACS teachers, like becoming a future FACS teacher. It's just being a teacher. So I think that would be something we could reach out to the colleges and universities and make sure they're promoting it also.
Is there anything specific y'all are doing next week since it's FCCLA week for the FACS teachers? So recognizing to be a FACS teacher, since Wednesday, I believe, is the big FACS teacher day. Anybody do anything specific?
My students are going to have a table in the union. We were going to do it Wednesday for FCS Teacher Educator Day, but it didn't work with schedule. So we're going to do Friday and wear red. And we're making bookmarks with like 5 reasons to love family consumer sciences education. This will be the third time we've tabled in the union this semester. And so like we're really putting a strong push towards just visibility, because I've found that there's 2 routes for recruitment for me. One route is the high school teacher grabbed that student, identified that student, introduced that student to me at state FCCLA or region FCCLA, right? And like got them comfortable with the fact that, okay, Dr. Grace is a nice person, and right, and there's this program available, and you could go to SDSU for that degree program. So I get them that way. But then the other place that I recruit is on campus itself. And so I'm a guest speaker in our exploratory studies classes. And so I go in and I have recruited out of that pool. One of my recent grads, who is just a rock star and doing an amazing job. She had no idea FCS existed, but as soon as she heard about it, it was like light bulb went off. So I've had success, but I just need the number. I just need the numbers to be even greater. Um, but my students are my best recruiters for me on campus. It's one thing for me to go to those classes, but the last couple of years I learned that I don't go alone. I bring one of my great shining example students, because students want to hear from other students, right? Like they identify more strongly with them. And so yeah, I don't think I'll ever go to one of those exploratory classes just by myself anymore, because I really am noticing a difference in students, even if they don't change their major. Like I have more students asking me about it than I used to.
Good to hear. Kayla said we are having a Kentucky FACS Advocacy Day on Wednesday. We felt advocating for our profession is a great way to spend the day. And also, she said some teachers are meeting with legislators that day. So, FACS Day at the Capitol is what we would consider it in Oklahoma. So, and then Karen said that Georgia had CTE Day at the Capitol in Atlanta this week. So, and we also have FACS Day at the Capitol next week. So thank you.
We're going to have a breakfast next Wednesday, like the FCCLA members, and then the advisors will bring in food to share. We're going to wear red another day. And then we have like thank an FCCLA advisor one day, just like write a note to them. We also started doing this a couple years ago, a service day, where we just send out an email to teachers asking them if there's anything they need done, also to the office staff. And then our kids will go around and do it. And that really has been a good activity for us to do. Just simple things that maybe someone doesn't have time to do, that we can help out and get our name out.
That's a good idea too. Very good. Anybody else have any suggestions or things that y'all do? How about for the teachers that are classroom comprehensive teachers, when you're trying to do basic recruiting, is there any lesson plans that y'all do? Any activities that you do for comprehensive side to get them teaching them about being facts teachers, just being teachers at all? Okay. So,
I have
yes.
something. Um, so we, for new student orientation, for like the incoming freshmen coming in, we did an activity where we brought them down to the sewing lab on campus, and then each of the students made like a beeswax wrap, learned about sustainability, made a little wrap with a piece of fabric and some beeswax. And then also they went over to the foods lab. They learned how to use a knife and then chopped up an apple. And then they put their apple slices in their food wrap, and then they went home with their food wrap and new skills and a little bit of excitement for family and consumer sciences. And that seemed to be really successful at new student orientation. Um, Another thing that I saw was really successful was at our booth. Like we had our table up next to all the other tables of like different majors. This was at like the major fair and not like new student orientation, but um, we were able to make our booth kind of stand out from the rest with like the swag that we had. Because a lot of typical swag you'll see at those types of things are like pens or like stickers or a flyer. And we had some of those things, as well as like we had like little sewing kits that had family consumer sciences on it, or little measuring spoons where you can change the size of it from like tablespoons to teaspoons. And people were obsessed with that stuff. And I know like being able to incorporate that stuff depends on like funding and everything, but people were telling their friends about it, like, yo, there's sewing kits over at that table, and people were really excited about the things that we had to promote our major. So, yeah.
Another one you could do is, have them ask them what are some life skills that you want to know before you graduate from high school, and have the sticky notes, and they list on there that they want to know budgeting, they want to know how to sew on a button, blah, blah, blah. And they stick them up on the wall, and then have them group up like all the sewing ones together and then all the budgeting ones together. And then they discuss it. And then you can come back and say, okay, great. These are by being a family consumer science teacher, you get to teach these life skills. So, and that's a short one that you can do too. So, but yeah. Anybody else have any other short ideas or things that you can teach or
Okay. So as a food and nutrition teacher, I incorporate my years of experience and my story to my students. I let them know that it's not only learning about foods, but you're learning life skills. You're learning things that you'll be able to practice when you're home. You're able to help others, teach others, show others your creativity and explore. So, although I'm a foods teacher, I'm able to teach other areas. For example, you mentioned clothing earlier. So a few weeks ago, I asked the students, let me see those students who have not used an iron at home. And I saw many hands went up. I said, okay, now this is a day, this is your opportunity. I'll show you how to iron your chef jacket and or your napkin. I think there was another day last semester where we did napkin folds, and I taught them other things other than preparing a meal, things that they can use. I even assisted a child. Let me help you to sew a button. It was a pants was torn, and I showed her how to do it. So I incorporated the little things in the lesson and let them know that you can also be a teacher. You can be a teacher too, even if it's not family and consumer science, but you can also be a teacher in another area of CTE, because I taught career management also last semester. Another thing you can do is to have a little area in your classroom and have little fun activities. I have a FCCLA puzzle. I have just a little flyer on the different areas, the different career clusters, little things you can have to promote CTE or to promote family and consumer science to your students. You can have it on your door. I have a little area at my door. I also have a little table in the classroom, and whatever opportunity you get, well, that I get, I try to promote the area. And next week for FCCLA week, we will have a trivia, lunch trivia. Although it's a short time, but we're going to incorporate little things about family and consumer science, FCCLA, during that lunch hour. Thank you.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
I'll be right over to learn how to do the napkin folding. Anybody else have any other thoughts or questions to ask each other about how we do things or suggestions to give each other?
Okay, this is a little broader than classroom specifically, but as a retired person, I started realizing that our tribe of family and consumer sciences teachers was shrinking. And, we have to grow our own tribe in my mind. And so I went to the College of Family and Consumer Sciences at the University of Georgia, and I took a little bit of money and said, okay, I don't have $1 million, but I have a little bit of money. So I want to grow the FACS education majors because we only have a few in Georgia. I mean, literally a few. And the dean, apparently there's something called like an in and out fund, which is different from like if you give like a bunch of money for a scholarship or something. And so she approved it. And so we have a little bit of money that I gave that we're growing now. We have we've developed a flyer, we have a QR code. The other day, the FACS education CTE teachers had a state conference and they could see the QR code. And so we're trying to grow the fund. And one of the first things we want to do is something that was mentioned earlier, because when I have exhibited at FCCLA for FACS education, students will come by and say, we don't know what that is. And I'll go, well, if you're here, if you're at the FCCLA conference, if you're competing, then you're actually in a family consumer sciences class, and they had no clue. So part of the issue there is that we have the clusters, we have the pathways and the clusters, and they're not called family and consumer sciences. So what we're going to do is develop a poster. Somebody mentioned that earlier, a poster for Georgia that says, if you are in these courses and you'd like to teach these courses, something like this, the class that you're in now, you would want to major in family and consumer sciences education so that they see the connection between their culinary arts class and family and consumer sciences. So it's just a little bit of seed money, but we're hoping that it'll grow to a fund. One of the things that we want to do is not just the poster. We want people from the University of Georgia to go to the FCCLA conferences and speak to the kids and talk to them about majoring in family consumer sciences. And if we don't have an advocate, because our major is so small in Georgia, that if we don't stand up for ourselves and say, okay, we want to do this, that the University of Georgia is not going to do it because we're so small in numbers. So we have to make a plan for that to work. So it's different from a classroom strategy, but it's what we're hoping will help us grow the profession.
So is your plan the poster? Is that where you're starting with the poster?
Well, but that's one of the first plans.
First plan?
Yeah, within the plan or the poster, it depends on how much money we raise. You know, we got a couple of $1,000s now. And
Good.
so our goal is 10,000 and we just started a few months ago. So we're kind of excited that we have as much money as we do. But it takes money for the people from the university to travel, like to wherever the FCCLA conference is, and we need to reach the kids. The poster is for the teachers. The travel for them to present and the swag, you know, they call it swag. So I don't know exactly what's going to be produced in terms of what they give kids, but it will say FACS education and not just FCS or the University of Georgia. It'll be very specific to our major.
Do you have one university that teaches FACS Ed in Georgia?
Well, you know, we used to have a bunch.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. You know how that goes. And so we had I can almost name you 4 or 5. And now it's down to the University of Georgia, and we literally have a handful of FACS education majors. I hear that Georgia Southern, which is down South Georgia, close to Savannah, Georgia, for those of you that, you know, might recognize that. I hear that they've added the program back, but I don't know that for a fact yet.
Well, that's
But
exciting.
that would be thrilling. But you know, we've gone from like a couple of smaller colleges that were 2-year colleges that would be feeder colleges for either Georgia Southern or the University of Georgia. So the 2-year kids would finish and then come to us. And now we don't have that anymore.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so people kind of don't know who we are, partly because of the name change and the clusters, etc. Yeah. Like I said, the culinary arts kids who don't realize that they're in FACS programs. Okay, I'm off my soapbox.
That's just the way, yeah, it is across the board for all of us.
Right.
And that's what's hard. So, does anybody else have anything to chime in to go along with anything that you'd like to say? Or any other suggestions or things that y'all are doing next week because of FCCLA week? Anything that y'all want to say to get off your chest? Or anything to say good luck to Piper?
I know. We're going, I think I mentioned it in the chat, but we're going on Wednesday next week to the Capitol again for FCCLA and FACS week. And we have a proclamations from the House and the Senates
Hey,
that,
at least we're doing this. This is a big deal. We
yeah,
are going out and we are, you know, telling everybody who we are, and this is good. So this is important that we are doing this. So, yes. And yes, but
I was going to say, I think it goes back to what was said a few minutes ago, you know, about telling our story. Like, I think, well, here's one of the things that I used to always hear my students say, well, I need to be in a field where I'm going to make money, right? Or I need to be in a field where, um, you know, it's just different. And I take the pandemic all the time, and I'm not saying that this is what anybody has to do, but this kind of got my students to thinking like we were one of the only careers that we never had to worry about losing our jobs. We were frontline to get, you know, the vaccination when it came along. I'm not sure about all school districts, but our school district, we got a bonus, you know, for when that time happened. So, I just try to tell them, and then I try to share with them that there are other ways that you become financially, I'm just going to say what I think, financially rich, other than, just having a dollar paper in your hand. Like there are just certain things that we know will always be there for us. And I always used to, they love being with the kids, and they love, having those opportunities. And I always say, what other career would you have where you can go in and you can be the creator, right? You can be the creator. You create your space. You may have some guidelines, some things that you have to do, but you're the person who is able to create your space. And so I used to share that with my students a lot. And I think that, us just sharing our story about how we got to where we are and why we do what we do, sometimes does help students. Sometimes, put that bug in their ear to think about it, because there are some students who really want to do it, but don't do it because there's someone in their ear telling them that's not a good career. You shouldn't do it. It's not good. And I think it goes back to what you said, Karen, that we have to be our own promoters. There are even many of us who are in the classrooms who are telling students, don't you do that, right? So I just think that, those are some things that we just have to think about, and how can we share, and I think it was said earlier, how can we share it on the platform for ACTE, or get it out there. I mean, I know that there are other disciplines under the umbrella of CTE, but how do we just start sharing out a little more so that not just this few people who are here, but the masses of all of the family and consumer sciences teachers that was in that room when you had your meeting, and it was like standing room only, right? So how do we make that happen so that the voice is carried throughout, not just in this small space, but in the larger space that we have that we could possibly use?
Well, I will say that you have given me some great ideas from the ACTE side, and I will take these back and see what I can do with them. And that's been very helpful for me. It's been helpful for me as a teacher. And I know that hopefully it's been helpful for y'all. And so it's been enjoyable for me to see all of y'all. I apologize that I kind of sound snotty. But do y'all have anything else to share with each other? Um, but this has been
One
a
little
very,
thing.
yes.
Oh yeah, just a quick thing. One thing, like as ambassadors for the major, I don't know, didn't catch if any of you were in the Utah area, but um, we are willing to like go as like ambassadors of the major, like go to nearby schools and like talk to the students and give some of that swag as well. So that could be another resource with like the college students in your area. Invite them to come and tell your middle school and high school students.
And have calls too. Do y'all have calls? Like
Calls, like,
calls? Yeah. So do y'all ever do any
no,
type of
yeah, we
calls?
haven't.
Yeah, with them. So Zoom calls or anything? Do you ever do Zoom calls with the different fax classes?
We haven't, no, but that's a good idea.
Yeah, try that one.
Yeah,
That
yeah.
might be good. So how many kids or students are in your program?
Oh, I don't know the exact number off the top of my head. I would guess somewhere around like 50 students, I
Okay,
think. Yeah, it's
good.
definitely a smaller major, but small but mighty.
Small and mighty. Hey, and you're going to make a big impact. So, because we're teaching those life skills. So, and that's
Yeah.
what, yep, so important. So,
Yeah, thank you so much.
yes, and we appreciate you being on. So, this video will be, of course, it's being recorded, and we will send this out to y'all. So, and if y'all have my information, and if y'all want to contact me if you have any questions. But I don't know if we have anybody have any other things, any comments?
Karen,
Well,
I wanted to ask,
go ahead.
Oh, sorry. How do you do the calls? Because at the college level, like they're always like saying like you can't FERPA wise, you can't have your students interacting with people outside of the class. So like can't really incorporate in my I don't know if I can incorporate it in my classroom. I can maybe do it through the student group, but I'd love to hear more about people's experience with those calls you were talking about because that's really interesting to me.
The calls as in with Piper? Is that what you're referring to?
Like, yeah, with the college students talking to
That's
you.
a Paula Tripp question.
Yeah, we do it all throughout the year with potential students, admitted students, and it can be some of our current students at an off hour. Sometimes we do it during class time. We can zoom in. Yeah, we love it. The students, I've got one that I talked to today that really wants to visit with some of our current students before she gets here.
So do you just reach out to the individual teachers and they like you have it set up like, hey, let's have a call, or do you just have it open and if they hop on, then they can start talking to the students? How do you logistically make this happen?
Yeah, I would like to do the open. I just haven't done that yet. So usually it's more, I offer it during our annual conference in August where I talk to all the teachers. And then as I also do well, not every week, but a weekly newsletter that goes out to all the teachers and all the extension educators. And there I can offer it as well.
Great. Thank you.
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. One thing, Karen, I was going to suggest real quickly is collaboration. Don't try to do it alone. 5 years ago, Karen and I and one county educator met at the State Career Tech office and just, it was just, we said, we've got to do something. There's too much of a shortage. We've got to get more students. Long story short, it grew and grew, and then we have a Say Yes to FCS Education Day at OSU every year, but it's only because of collaboration between OSU and the FCS state program manager and specialists at the State Career Tech Department, through Oklahoma Cooperative Extension Service, we have our professional organizations that provide money for that. The invite goes out to all of our teachers and extension educators in FCS. And I mean, it fills up pretty quickly because we can only have about 160 students in the space that we have now. There's no charge other than them getting there, but we may have to start charging but anyway, and we just do all kinds of things. We have former state officers, FCCLA state officers who MC for us. So that's huge. It's just a very exciting and immersive program that they do. It's only for a morning, and then they get to hear we either do a brief campus tour, or we have faculty from other departments where FCS students take classes come and talk just a little bitty bit about the courses that our FACS-Ed students will take. Students love that, but we limit it to juniors and seniors. All we talk about is FACS-Ed. We don't talk about interior design or dietetics or any of the other programs that the college offers, but strictly FACS-Ed. So just wanted to say, start small, collaborate, do it. Work together. You've got to. That's been great for us.
And a couple of years we had a camp, but we
did have a academy in the summer for a few days where they would come to campus. That wasn't a good ROI. It took a lot of time, big investment, and we just didn't see the return on that. But it was a lot of fun.
It was really exhausting.
Yes, it was.
I think for me as a high school teacher, I'm more focused on all the careers under the FCS career clusters, the FCCLA pushes, that I've really neglected FCS teachers. So this has kind of opened my eyes to, I push, but kids kind of look at it like, oh, I'm not going to be a high school teacher. Oh, I'm not going to be a high school teacher. I think I need to make those connections to our local colleges and make it become more of a reality, a real thing to them. Maybe some videos about what FCS teaching is, something besides just me trying to explain it to them. So I appreciate this time and the vision now that I have of how to move forward, because I've done career fairs, but it's focused on all the different careers, not necessarily FCS teaching. So I appreciate all of your ideas that are sparking some ideas going. Thank y'all.
I am in the process of putting together a video of from FACS teachers who have made statements about why they became a FACS teacher, or why do they like being a FACS teacher. I'm in the process of putting together a video for all of y'all through because of from my position of ACTE. So it's not done yet, but it will go out to y'all. But I could have put it together during the snowstorm, but I decided to watch television instead. So, and here we sit. So, but it will come out, I promise. But so anyway, yes, you will be getting a video from me. So, yes. So anyway, but no, this has been good. I hope y'all learned something, or at least have got some ideas. So if not, it's enjoyable to see everybody. Anybody else have any other things you want to chime in?
I'm going to add just one little thing from the post-secondary level. My other post-secondary peers can chime in if you agree this happens. So even though my students are already committed to FCS Ed, there have been multiple times when I have them and they start questioning whether or not they have the ability to teach, because of course they're learning how to teach. And so as an educator, I find it very helpful when I teach all the apparel design and merchandising courses. So when I notice they have got a skill down, I will ask them to help a classmate learn how to do it. I don't tell them I'm doing this so that to reemphasize that you can teach, but after I do it, and then I'll go around and just tap them and be like, hey, good job, teacher, and walk on. And I've noticed doing that over and over has really meant a lot to them. So maybe even at the high school level, just setting up those opportunities could be inspiring to be like, oh, I can teach. It's not this huge, big, scary thing. And that's worked.
Thank you. Okay. Well, this has been good. Thank y'all. So anybody else have anything? Okay. Well, y'all have a great evening. Hope for some of y'all who are cold, stay warm. And the rest of y'all, happy FCCLA week. So wear your red with pride.
I want to smell Kayla's baby's head.
Oh, yeah. Show your baby, Kayla. You put the baby to bed?
No, he's just over here in his swing for a minute.
Okay. Well,
He was
thank
getting
you.
restless. He needed something to do.
Oh, well, thank you for having him out. So, and thanks for
No
getting on.
problem.
So,
No problem.
bye-bye.